Hello, I'm going to do it like a proper introduction for once in my life because this is a new series and there's a chance new people might come across this at some point, I don't know. But hello, my name is Lauren. I regularly do videos about tattoos. That is my main focus of content. That's what I've been doing for 5-ish years now. But I wanted to try something new. I have been fascinated by extreme weather for as long as I can remember. I don't know why it fascinates me so much, but it does. I can remember watching Twister for the first time. Twister is one of my favourite films of all time. I have a tattoo dedicated to the film Twister. That's how much I love it. And I've watched plenty of documentaries about extreme weather. I also spend quite a lot of time watching live streams of storm chasers in America. It's kind of tornado season at the moment, so I follow a lot of storm chasers like on Facebook, and they will do a live stream of them basically driving around trying to find a tornado to look at, examine, study, all of that. And yeah, I will literally watch people drive for hours and it's just so fascinating to me, like the whole thing with extreme weather and tornadoes. They're deadly. They can cause horrific damage and death, injuries. They can pretty much ruin people's lives, and hopefully I can do this respectfully because obviously I know there is a lot of victims and survivors of these tornadoes, so I hope this doesn't come across as insensitive, but it's just something that's fascinating to me, and I kind of want to talk about what goes on and, the destruction that it causes. And hopefully if a few of you guys like this video, we can make this into a series, and hopefully we can sort of do stuff, make awareness and do some like charity stuff. My biggest inspiration actually for this type of video is a YouTuber that I've been watching for a very long time now. Her name is Kendall Ray, and she does a lot of videos on true crime. And she herself has done a lot of charity work. She also does it with her podcast, Mile Higher. So this is my kind of inspiration for that. Like, I hopefully can do this in a tasteful way. For the first video of this, it's going to be on one of the most deadliest tornadoes that's happened in our lifetime. So I'm 31, and this actually happened 10 years ago. I'm literally filming this on the 10-year anniversary. So I'm filming this on the 22nd of May, and this happened on the 22nd of May 10 years ago. So this video is about a EF5 tornado that happened in Joplin, Missouri. Joplin is a city that is southwest of Missouri. There's about 60,000 people that live there now. So like I was saying, on Sunday the 22nd of May in 2011, a EF5 tornado touched down in Joplin, Missouri. An EF5 tornado is the most dangerous type of tornado. Tornadoes are ranked by the Fujita scale, I think that's how you say it, Fujita scale. The Fujita scale is ranked from 0 to 5. You get an EF0, which is, it's still a tornado, but compared to a EF5, that is not as dangerous. An EF5 tornado is the most deadliest one. It can cause an insane amount of destruction. Winds can go up to 318 miles per hour. Only 62 tornadoes since records have begun have been recorded as an EF5, so they're kind of rare. The Joplin tornado was estimated to be around about 0.7 miles wide. Like, I can't even imagine. That's so big. And it travelled for about 22 miles. So on Sunday, the 22nd of May, at 5:17 p.m, a warning was put out that a tornado is coming. So if you're not aware of how a warning works in America, basically, it's hard to predict when tornadoes are coming, especially in tornado season. There is a lot of extreme weather, like storms, so it's hard to tell what's going to turn into a tornado and what's not. Eventually you'll get like a rotation cloud, and you'll see movement within a cloud.
I don't want to just stare at it out the window all my... God damn, look at that cloud motion, dude. Look at that funnel twirling.
I see, look at that funnel right there.
Holy shit.
They're like right on it.
And it'll just start to disperse downwards. You don't want to be putting out any false warnings, because then it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. So it's best to be 100% sure before a tornado warning is put out. And basically this very scary noise comes out over these speakers that are dotted around in sort of towns and cities. It is quite a frightening sound. But yeah, at 5:17 a warning was put out for Joplin because meteorologists were like, okay, this storm system is going to turn into a tornado. At 5:34, the tornado started to form. So that's when the clouds were getting super angry. 5:51 p.m, the tornado officially touched down onto ground.
There it is. There it is. Oh gosh, that is a monster tornado. Okay, back up and go to that road back there.
The tornado was then on the ground from 5:41 p.m. till 6:12 p.m. Most of the damage was caused between 5:41 p.m. and 5:55 p.m, which basically means within like 14 minutes, most of the destruction was caused, most of the injuries was caused, most of the deaths was caused. All it took was 14 minutes to ruin a city's life.
Oh my gosh. This is awful.
Not sure what that was.
This is, look at that. That is destroyed completely.
For the Joplin tornado, winds got up to 200 miles per hour. I've got a picture here of the route that the tornado took. So as you can see, the tornado started as an EF4 and then it built up to an EF5, which can happen. And you can see that the main area that the tornado was an EF5 was unfortunately in Joplin, where most of civilization is. So at 6:12 p.m, the tornado had finally dispersed. Immediately following the disaster, emergency services were deployed to the city to do as much help as they most possibly could. Obviously with the tornado, a lot of destruction has happened. A lot of houses were completely flattened. So there would be people trapped underneath their houses, in buildings, wherever they may be. There would be people just walking about or driving their car. So a lot of people needed to be rescued or helped.
A search for survivors after the tornado turned homes into matchsticks, slung shingles into stucco, and made splinters into spears.
I just want to find alive people.
14 Springfield firefighters are checking room by shattered room, marking the progress along the way.
The governor, Jay Nixon, declared it a state of emergency shortly after the tornado had disappeared. Also ordered the Missouri National Guard troops to attend and help as much as they could. Emergency services and the National Guard troops worked throughout the night tirelessly to help as many people as possible with injuries, recovering bodies, recovering people that were still alive, finding pets, because there were a lot of pets that were just roaming around as well, so they had to try and reunite pets with people. That was something that went on for days after. The day after the tornado, people were still stuck under rubble, and 17 people were rescued the day after. Many homes in Joplin didn't have a basement in their house, so if there is a tornado coming, it is advised that you go into a basement because it's a bit safer because you're sort of underground. So if a tornado comes along on the ground and it bulldozes the house, you'll have the roof of the basement to protect you. You could still get harmed, but it's a lot safer than just being in your living room or what have you. If you don't have a basement, it's advised that you go into a bathtub and then put some blankets and a bed cover over you and pillows to protect you from anything that's falling down, because a bathtub is very secure in your house. It can take a lot. You know, you fill it up with water and then you put your whole body in there as well. So it's advised that you put as many people as possible into the bath. So because a lot of people didn't have basements, that's what they did. And because of the tornado caused such destruction, there was a lot of people that were trapped under housing rubble. So it took a lot of manpower to rescue these people. Many people reported that the tornado sounded like an extremely loud train and that you could hear it coming and it was getting louder and louder and louder. I couldn't imagine just hearing the sirens going off and then all of a sudden hearing this train-like noise coming to me closer, closer, louder and louder. I couldn't imagine just how terrifying that is. The damage that the tornado caused was absolutely horrific. There was debris absolutely everywhere, like I was just talking about, because obviously with rescue efforts, the debris included parts of houses and buildings, trees, branches, cars, buses, trucks. Basically, the tornado picked absolutely everything up and then just chucked it out wherever, and that obviously makes things a lot worse. So not only were people hurt by the actual tornado itself by flattening houses, but there's also the risk of debris just flying absolutely everywhere. Around 8,000 buildings and houses were completely destroyed or flattened. And of course, with this, many families were left homeless. So with that, power lines and phone lines were also down. Temporary shelters were built for people without homes. There was also temporary emergency shelters. Temporary shelters were built for people to stay in. A lot of people were rehoused into homes that were up to like an hour away. And I just can't imagine, you go through this horrific incident and then you're rehoused up to like an hour away. And obviously with this kind of amount of destruction, you want normality. You just want your home. You want to be close to people you know. You want to be close to your job or school. It can really affect you. But there was not much housing because most of the housing, unfortunately, was destroyed, and there were so many people that needed to be rehoused. There was no other option other than to be rehoused miles and miles away. Luckily, a lot of people did have house insurance, which was obviously a huge saviour. But with the scale of this tornado, obviously everyone is going to be claiming insurance. It took a very long time for payouts to happen and then for people to be able to rebuild their houses and rebuild their lives. Temporary medical shelters were also built because unfortunately one of the buildings that were destroyed were St. John's Medical Centre, and obviously you need as much medical help as possible in these situations.
It's likely more than 200 people were in the hospital that night, including about 150 patients.
Couldn't call anyone to say, hey, what do you do in this situation? Because really no one's been in that situation before.
Unfortunately, the medical centre lost power, and with any major medical places like hospitals, they will have a backup generator, but that unfortunately did not work, and because of that 5 people who were on ventilators lost their lives. The medical centre actually had to be torn down because it was destroyed so much that it was just beyond repair. Joplin High School was also destroyed, which had 2,143 students enrolled. Now luckily this was on a Sunday, so there was no students in any of the schools in Joplin. It could have been a lot worse. The students had to go to a temporary facility, which was a renovated Shopco at North Park Mall, and the students were actually there for about 3 years until their school was fully rebuilt. The new school was opened in 2014. It just puts into perspective of how much a tornado can devastate people's lives and just turn it upside down, quite literally. In total, the Joplin EF5 tornado caused $2.8 billion worth of damage. Unfortunately and sadly, 161 people died as the result of the Joplin tornado. More than 1,000 people were injured. With these figures, it makes the Joplin tornado the 7th most deadliest tornado since records began. The president at the time, Obama, visited the city and affected areas on May 29th.
Obviously, the scene speaks for itself. Obviously, it is going to take years to build back. This is just not your tragedy. This is a national tragedy, and that means there will be a national response.
It took Joplin a very long time to recover from this. Obviously, there's a lot of cleanup to do, rescuing, and it takes a huge spirit and a lot of strong people to push people through this. As a community, they got through this. Everyone helped each other get through it. And 10 years later, the city is pretty much rebuilt. They've made a great recovery. And there's reports of people saying that, Joplin is so strong. And the community really just pushed them through it and got everyone through it because they've all gone through this together. A tornado will destroy everything, but then people will, say, wow, okay, we can just hide from this and move on, move away and, start a new life elsewhere. But the community pretty much was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to rebuild and stay strong.
So back then, I wish it would have never happened for everyone, but I think that there has been some good that you can look that has came out of it. So I think we're much stronger than we were before. And
I admire them so much for that. I really do. It takes a lot of heart to do something like that. Yeah, my thoughts are obviously with the victims, the people who lost their lives because of this. It's honestly just so sad that this happens. And like I was saying, tornadoes fascinate me, but I do not like this part about it at all. If I had my way, tornadoes would just do their things in a field far, far away from any civilization. Unfortunately, we can't control that. It's quite sad. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on this. Give me any feedback down below, constructive criticism, all of that. Let me know if there's any tornadoes or extreme weather that you would like me to cover in a video, should you guys like this type of video. And yeah, until my next video, bye.